What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Luke Cage, Season 1, Episode 10, Take It Personal. And I feel like I've decided that I'm just probably going to finish up the whole season tonight. Going to have all these reviews done and just start uploading them tomorrow morning. Because, my word, I want to know how this all ends. It's gotten so good. There's so many interesting things going on. So let's talk about it all. So, first of all, we've got... Yeah, they finally find a way to get the shrapnel out of Luke. They bring him back to life. They find out that temperature and it's kind of scientific, but at the same time you're just kind of like, okay, this is all BS science. You know, none of it is real. So part of me wants to actually think about, okay, could this possibly happen? Like, what are they doing right now? Is this? And then the other part of me has to say, it's sci-fi. It's comic book. It's not gonna be real. But anyway, they find a way to bring him back to life. The doctor wants Luke to stick around and help him find the cures for diseases and stuff. And of course Luke says, no. And pretty much freaks out on the doctor because of what he finds out about Reva, which is ultimately she was using him. And I find that interesting. I don't know whether it's all true, whether or not it's halfway true. But what it seems like is that Reva never actually was interested in him. That it was all just an act because she needed him to be a part of the program, and so she had to get inside his head. And I don't know, it's kind of curious and makes me wonder. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna find out. Maybe we might, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna find out whether or not Reva actually had interest in him. But it's something to think about for the future. Who knows? We may find out something one day. But that causes Luke to sort of lose his mind. He freaks out, destroys the doctor's entire setup, and takes the hard drive with him and says, you know, you're never going to do this again. Which, it looks like the doctor had a backup somehow. I don't know how or what that was, but it looks like he had a backup ready. Like he had already stored it onto some sort of drive and just plugged that in whenever they left. So, you know, that all happens, and meanwhile, the town is completely turned against Luke. Willis, Diamondback, whatever you want to call him, he has this glove that makes it look like Luke Cage killed a cop. And so that causes all the cops to fly into a frenzy. They start just questioning all these suspects, these people that might be accomplices. They're doing it rough. They're doing it extremely illegally as far as cops are concerned, until it finally escalates to a point where Lonnie, the kid of the woman that was flirting with Luke at the beginning of the season, he gets brought in. The cop starts freaking out on him because he won't say anything. He doesn't, like, the kid's just like, you don't have anything to hold me on. Like, my mom's a lawyer. You just picked me up from school. I've got nothing on me. I'm gonna leave. And the cop just freaks out because, you know, another cop died. And so he, like, pretty much just beats the crap out of him. You know, blood is up his face. And ultimately that leads to a lot of issues for the cops. And that also helps Mariah sort of kickstart her campaign, which she right now is kind of... Well, first of all, her entire campaign of, like, Luke Cage is a menace is pissing me off. But I don't know what to think about her. Like, because whenever she's talking to Willis, she's like, you know, we can't do this. You can't just go kill a cop. This is all wrong. And then she gets up on stage and she's like 100% behind it. I'm like, how do you do that? Like, you've got to have some sort of split personality disorder or something like that to just go from this is wrong, you're wrong about all of this, to let's do this, guys. Come on, you know, fund me. I don't know how she does it. She has to be a serious psychopath to be able to deal with all this. But yeah, she has this speech about, you know, standing up to the superhumans, and everybody's rallying behind her, which, you know, it's something that's becoming a bit more part of the Marvel Universe. You know, Civil War, it was talked about, you know, the Sokovia Accords, all that good stuff. Jessica Jones, there were a few people that... There's that one lady that asked for her help, and then we come to find out that she actually wants to kill Jessica Jones. And it was kind of an interesting storyline that, you know, people some people are frightened by these superhumans, even though they're doing nothing but help. They still are frightened, and now that Luke Cage is being framed for all of this stuff, it's like, people are frightened by what he can do. Um, and ultimately, I'm trying to think if there's anything in between. A lot of the stuff in between, the beginning part with Luke Cage and then the final part uh, at Cottonmouth's bar, Harlem's Paradise, I think it's called. A lot of that stuff in between just sort of seems like it was building up to that moment. There a lot of frame stuff going on. Misty is figuring more stuff out now, so I kind of like the fact that she isn't just taking it all and just being like, oh yeah, okay, Luke's the guilty one here. She's actually looking into it. She's actually doing investigating, whereas most of the cops are just like, oh, Luke Cage is guilty. We need to find him. We need to take him down now. It's nice to see that Misty is actually keeping a calm head right now, which it's kind of bizarre to really think about, because last episode she was not calm at all, and now all of a sudden this one she is. So yeah, I like the fact that she's on Luke's side, though. She's actually looking for Willis because she wants to find him, since he was the one that put a gun to her face. And ultimately she does find out about Carl and Willis and their history together. And that's something that I think is a big turning point for Luke, is realizing that Willis is his brother. His mom was apparently Carl's dad's secretary, and so she had a son by his dad. And I think he was saying that it was because his father wanted a son, and it didn't look like his mother was ever going to have a son. So I think that was part of why. But ultimately, it was a miracle his mother did have a baby, and it was him. And so it was almost like Willis hated Carl for that, And, he even said at one point, Willis always hated me because he thought my dad liked me better, but what he didn't know is that my dad didn't like me at all either. So it's kind of interesting to see that even though his father is kind of an asshole, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's interesting to see that sort of comparison there, and hopefully we do get a bit more flashback material, because what we saw was interesting, but I want a bit more interaction there. I want to actually see what was going on, because what we saw was a little bit confusing, but it was understandable enough, just not as much as I wanted. I wanted to see more interaction, mainly between young Carl and young Willis. But we may not get that. If not, it'll be fine. Now I understand why Willis hates Carl. But I just want to see a bit more, I guess, of them at that age. But we'll see what happens there. But ultimately, the final scene is at Harlem's Paradise. Mariah's giving a speech. She's like, we gotta stand up to him. And then she hands off the mic to a reverend who starts speaking about, what a false person Luke Cage is. And I'm just like, you guys are all idiots. But anyway, she's walking through the crowd, Mariah, and then she runs into the guy that was trying to take her seat on the chair. And he knows everything. And I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen to him, because I feel like the only reason that they keep bringing him back in is to have somebody else for Mariah to kill. Because that's what he keeps antagonizing her. I'm just like, dude, you realize you're messing with a psychopath that killed her own cousin. Like, I feel like you're about to die soon. And while the speech is going on, Misty sees Willis up there, and so she starts going up there. Luke sees him up there, starts to go up there. And so Misty goes into the office, gun pointed at him, just like, you're under arrest. He's like, oh, no, I'm not, or whatever he said. It was more clever than that, but pulls out two guns and starts shooting, catches her in the shoulder, and Luke steps in, blocks the rest of the bullets, and then carries her as guys come out with submachine guns and just start riddling him with bullets. And so he jumps down on the floor. The guys keep firing at him, so obviously these are not these are obviously Willis's guys that are idiots and just shooting into a crowd of people. And it ends with Luke is behind the bar shielding Misty as the bullets keep flying and just busting up everything. So it left off at a pretty intense scene. I feel like this may help Luke's case a little bit, the fact that these guys are just shooting at him and the fact that he's protecting Misty and all of this. But then again, people could look at this and be like, you caused these guys to shoot at us, and because of you, if you weren't here, then those guys wouldn't have shot. And because that's the twisted logic that everybody is using now. It's like, oh, because the cops are trying to get to Luke and they beat up this kid, we should blame Luke for all of this. It's like, really? It just feels like a twisted little way that you want to push all the blame onto Luke, and everybody's just eating it up like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Man, this is good stuff. That is the biggest frustration thing, and honestly, it does kind of make sense because she's a politician. She does have a way with words that could convince people to follow her way. But I'm just like, why are you people so just accepting of the fact that, oh, the cops beat up this kid to get this one guy, we should blame the guy that they were trying to get to? It's like, no, you blame the cops for being idiots. Like, that's, you don't blame the guy that, anyway. So, long story short, it is really good. That frustration is more, it's supposed to frustrate me. Like, I know what that is. It's part of the story. It's supposed to frustrate me because if you don't have some characters acting like idiots, then you wouldn't have a good story. So overall, really enjoyed this episode. Really sets up well for more intensity in the next episode. We still have 3 episodes left, and these episodes are almost an hour long. So I don't know what could possibly be left. I don't know what more they could do, because it feels like it's almost coming to an end. Luke's back in town. He knows why Willis hates him. It feels like Misty has enough information to convince everybody that Luke is not the bad guy. So who knows what they're about to do. I'm willing to bet it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What did you like and dislike about this episode? How do you think this season's going to end? Let me know. We can talk about it. All that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Luke Cage reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.